From the basketball courts to the C-suite, NBA Hall of Famer Shaquille O'Neal is known for being a legendary athlete, but he's also an all-star entrepreneur as well. And I had the chance to speak with him about why he admires Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos to his new partnership with Epson. Take a listen.
Well, I choose him because I have to have experience, a life experience with the brand. So as far as Epson, I've been having Epson printers and projectors, damn near, my whole life, especially my whole NBA life. So as a guy, when I go to Staples and pick out a printer, I pick out the newest one, a lot of technology, a lot of buttons, whatever. But one thing I always hated is the cartridges. So now when the cartridges run out, now I got to do homework. Now I got to read. I'm not a cartridge man, know nothing about cartridges, so I take them back to Staples and, we don't have them, you got to order it. Now I don't want to order it. Then I would have to buy a brand new printer. So one day I'm in Staples and they tell me about this eco-friendly a printer that you just, pour the ink into, and it lasts up to 1 or 2 years, no more cartridges. So I bought one, and it's been working lovely. And I said, to Epson, I said, people need to know about this. It's good that it's in the store, but I think people need to know about this because, Epson has always been at the top of their field when it comes to technology and comes to product. I've been having them Epson since 1992, so
well,
I think it's a great partnership.
You say you're a printer guy. You can also say you're a donut guy. You got the Krispy Kreme locations. You can also say you're a gym guy. You got the 24-hour fitness locations, and of course, you're also on the board. It's not just brand ambassador partnerships. You're on the board of Papa John's, and you've been on that board for a few months now. So what has really been behind the turnaround since you've joined? I know you got the 10 locations in Atlanta, your own personal franchise, the Shaqnosis Pizza, but what else has been changing at the company to turn things around?
Well, we're just focusing on, the leadership aspect. We got more women on the board. We're just trying to change the culture right now. We just want a culture where, everybody's invited, everybody is accepted. So right now we're just changing the culture. We donated $500,000 to all-girls HBCU school, so we're doing a lot of stuff unseen in the community. But right now we're just trying to, change the culture. They had an old culture, an old way. We brought a new leadership, myself. We brought some educated women in. And, we just want to create an environment where everybody is welcome and everybody is involved.
And you're also the first African-American board member at Papa John's, too, that being a big deal. What do you think about the diversity as well at Papa John's?
With me being a first on the board, like I said, we have women that are involved. We have a lot of things that we're doing. And I'm happy to have been the first African-American on the board, and we're looking to do big things. All
right, so it's Papa John's, it's Epson, but you've also talked about a brand that you've been working with, another brand that you've been working with for a long time, since your beginning in the NBA, Reebok, being a brand that you've had your eyes on and saying that you want to buy. I mean, what's realistically the chance in that being a goal for you, eventually getting Reebok under your umbrella brand?
Well, of course, there's always a chance. I think right now they're owned by Adidas, and I think my people have had a conversation with them. So hopefully, that can come to fruition one day. I would love to be a part owner of Reebok. That's my favorite brand. Adidas bought it, and they really haven't done much with it. I remember when Reebok was number 1, number 2 in the footwear market. We'd love to be the one to get them back on track.
Well, we can't forget the Shaqnosis. My friend and I were talking in the newsroom just a bit ago about how those were one of our favorite pairs of shoes. But when you look at Reebok, I mean, what about it in the brand is really something that you want to attach yourself still to?
Well, I mean, I just want to bring the whole brand back. I remember when it was like number 2, especially footwear, lifestyle, clothes, women's, running shoes, the box, the boots. I remember when it was a hot brand. And again, Adidas bought it, they purchased it, they really haven't done much with it. So if you don't want it, sell it to the diesel.
But I do want to get your take on the way that the NBA is kind of changing, because of course right now you're making more money, you've said, in the brand ambassador space, but the NBA is where you got your start. So when we look back there, in the last week there's been over $2 billion in free agency deals. What have you made about the way that players are moving around the league now, talking to each other directly, creating super teams? What do you make of the way that things have changed?
I mean, I'm happy for them, but I like the old way where you have to beat the best to become the best. But these young guys, to each his own. At the end, when their legacy is written, we'll see how it's written. I'm glad to say that my legacy will be written the same way as a Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. We competed. We beat it the best. We had hard-fought games. We did a lot for the city. So these guys want to team up and create super teams and make it easy to win championships. To each his own.
Not only that, Shaquille, but your legacy is printed in ink that is permanent in the city of Los Angeles. When you look at Kawhi Leonard going to the Clippers now, do you think that push has made the Clippers the team to beat in L.A.?
I think Jerry West once again did a phenomenal job of doing things professional, and nobody even had this move being thought of, and he did it. And I just hope he printed Kawhi's contract on the Epson printer.
Is there any team though now that you're looking at it that maybe may have done the best when we're talking free agency moves?
Well, I know LA is going to be a very exciting city with the Clippers and the Lakers. Lakers have always been a team that's had 2 or 3 big name guys. They got a couple of big name guys, so we'll see. You could try to forecast who's going to do what and who's going to be who, but everybody still has to play. You just have to pray that no one has injuries. Because remember, if Golden State didn't have those injuries, they probably win the championship again. So I think if both teams can stay healthy, they can go pretty far.
When you look at leadership in the public space and big name companies, I know you invested in Alphabet, Google early on. Are there any leaders out there in the public space that you really look to for leadership?
Well, I always look at Jeff Bezos. I actually met him a couple weeks ago. He's very brilliant on how he thinks. But my method is one that is old school. Of course, there's a lot of money to be thrown around, but when you're raised by a military drill sergeant, you have to do business honestly.
Yeah.
If I don't use your product, as a man, I cannot take your money. I just can't do it. I know money's important and it's nice to have, but as a man, when I go in the office and shake the CEO and the CFO's hand, I cannot look you in your eye, not use your product, but take your money. When it comes to Epson, I've been using Epson. Even if I didn't have this Epson deal, I'm still gonna have the printers, the projector. Oh, they're coming out with a new projector. I wish I could tell you about it. Wow. Whew. Over 120, very affordable.
Yeah.
But just so when it comes to Icy Hot, I use Icy Hot. General Insurance was the first insurance that I had in college before I became the character known as Shaq, and I couldn't afford a real insurance plan for $100. So I bought a little car, had to get some insurance. The General was there for me. So again, as a man, my philosophy is very old school. Like if I don't like your product, I cannot take your money. Doesn't matter what amount you offer me, I just can't do it because it's not the right thing to do.
There you go, Shaquille O'Neal, the legend himself. I mean, guys, there's a lot of brands that this man has worked with when you look at the list. It's kind of insane. I don't know if there's ever a point where it becomes dilutive, where it becomes too much. In my mind, maybe at some point, but I don't know what you guys think.
I mean, the fact that he was talking about Reebok, I was like, oh my gosh, that's right. I haven't heard about Reebok shoes making the news in a really long time. And he has really nostalgic roots to it because it was back in 1992, he signed his first multi-year shoe deal with them for $15 million.
Yeah.
So it's been over 20 years and now he's in a position where he could possibly even buy Reebok. So that's actually pretty impressive.
I mean,
He's a master of product placement. It's incredible how he incorporated everything.
Yeah, and he sounded authentic as a man, as this, raised by a military drill sergeant. I mean, you believe him. He is a great, product salesperson.
He is. Subtle shift. I mean, but the idea that he could swoop in and get Reebok is kind of lofty. That's what I was getting at when I asked him, just because it's a very expensive brand within the house of Adidas. It's clearly making a lot of money again right now. I mean, sales have been kind of declining in the last year, but still, it would be a lot of money to wrestle a Reebok away from an Adidas because of that nostalgia you talk about.
Right, absolutely.
Well, think of it this way. What can someone like Shaquille O'Neal do with Reebok versus what some other person could do with Reebok? There's a lot more potential in him buying it or him being part of the team behind it than just some random, say, private equity guys.
Sure.
And I'm glad you
think of it that way.
And I think if he were to take it, it wouldn't be as an individual, it would be as a team, because he mentioned Authentic Brand Group that bought Sports Illustrated, and he was saying how he's involved with them and could possibly do a deal with them to buy Reebok.
And team up with a PE
firm, too. It would be a very complex deal.
Be a part deal, but a man like Shaq might be able to get it done, and he's 7'1". If you're looking at him, you're not going to say no to a guy like that either. All right, well, thanks to Shaq for sitting down with me and taking the time to chat all things brands within his house.